In this video, I want to talk about the new features that have come with the 0.6.0 release of the Chocolatey Visual Studio Code extension. Now, the first one is that I've decided that this extension is actually going to take a dependency on a number of other extensions. Now, the reason for that is that when creating Chocolatey packages, it can be helpful to have additional functionality from some other extensions. Now, the first one is the PowerShell extension. What that's going to provide for us is fundamentals of creating PowerShell scripts, and that's essentially what a Chocolatey package is. So this extension is going to provide functionality such as syntax highlighting, completions, error checking that will help when we're creating our Chocolatey packages. The second one is a zip file explorer extension, and I'll explain in a little bit why that can be useful in the context of creating Chocolatey packages. So if we jump back over to our Solution Explorer here, what you'll notice is that there's a new Zip Explorer window in the bottom left-hand corner here. So what this is going to allow us to do is if I go up to this new spec file and I actually pack that into a nupkeg, what we'll find is that we now have the ability to right-click on that nupkeg and add it into this Zip Explorer in the bottom left-hand corner. So let's just wait for that to pack and then we can do that. So now that we have this nupkeg, I can right click on it and I've got this Explore zip file. So what that's going to do is it's going to open it down in here, and then there I can drill down into the folders to make sure that that Chocolatey package contains all the files that I expect it to. And then I can click on one to actually see the contents of it as well. Historically, when you're creating Chocolatey packages, if you wanted to check that the package contained everything you wanted, you would have had to have gone to the file system, change the extension from nupkeg to zip file, extract the files, and then look at them on the file system. So this provides the ability to see that in situ as you're creating the packages to see what's going on. Now, in order for this to happen, the Chocolatey extension has now added a file association between the nupkeg file extension and zip functionality. So if you have any other extensions that are specifically focused on zip functionality, you might find that nupkegs are now appearing there where they weren't before. If this is causing anyone any serious problems, feel free to get in touch and we can have a discussion about how we can fix that. So moving on, the features that have been added in this release have almost entirely come from external contributions from the community. In particular, I've had a number of contributions and discussions with Kim Nordmo, also known as Admiring Worm on GitHub. He's been looking at the Chocolatey extension and seeing how it can fit into his workflows, and as a result of that, he's provided some amazing feedback and also some functionality. So the first one that I want to talk about is the ability to now see available templates when you're using the create Chocolatey package command. So up here, if I were to run through this right now, I don't have any additional templates installed. Now, what I mean by a template is documented on the Chocolatey website up here. So Chocolatey has for a long time had the ability to have template packages and templates so that you, when you run Choco New, can have your own information contained within those files rather than the default one that ships as part of Chocolatey. So in there, you can apply your own coding conventions, your own dependencies, your own information about the maintainers and owners. All that sort of stuff can be added into your own template to make the creation of that packages that bit quicker. So this article on the Chocolatey website is actually explaining how you can do that, and also explaining that there's also a couple of template packages already available out there ready for your consumption. So what we've done in this release is we've added an additional Chocolatey command to actually install those template packages. So if I go ahead and run that, what that's going to do is it's going to pull down the msi.template and the zip.template packages and put them onto my file system ready for consumption. So what that's actually going to do, if I look in the C program data Chocolatey folder, I've now got this templates folder and I've got either an MSI or a zip folder. So if I go back into VS Code and let's run that create command again, so I'll call this test package B. Now what I'm seeing is the availability of an MSI package template and a zip package template, and also the default template. So the default template one is just what would have happened before if those templates weren't there. But if I now say I want the MSI package, what I'm going to get is the process is going to be exactly the same. Chocolatey is still going to run Choconew, but it's going to pass in that MSI template as part of the argument. So if we look at what's actually generated now in my Chocolatey install, I've now got a much shorter Chocolatey install.ps1 file compared to what I get from the default template. The default template has lots of comments, and it's trying to handle all the different edge cases of whether you're creating an MSI package, an exe package, a zip package, or whatever kind of package you're creating. It's trying to handle all those edge cases. Whereas the one that comes from the MSI template package, it's laser focused on just running an MSI. So it's much shorter, and it's only got exactly what you need. And the exact same is true of the other package, which is specifically for zip files. So let's take that and look at the zip file one, size these, and then we'll look at what we get from the template for that one. So let's look in this one. So in this Chocolatey install.ps1 file, again, it's much shorter than it was before, and it's laser focused on the Chocolatey zip package commandlet rather than the other ones. So hopefully that's of use to you. Now, the way that the installation works, if we look at the settings over here and I search for Chocolatey, I can edit this. So what's happening here is that the default settings for the installation command is to install a package with the name MSI template and a template with a name of zip.template from the source over here. So what you can do is, if you have your own templates, then you can specify the names here as well as the source that you want to install them from, and that command will do that work for you without having to do anything else. Now, the one caveat to all of that is obviously we're now doing an install. So I have at the minute to actually run Visual Studio Code as an administrator in order for those administrator privileges to pass down to Chocolatey to actually install into that program data folder. I am going to look into whether I can elevate the process from Visual Studio Code without the need to have it open as an administrator, and that will come in a later release. The next thing that I want to talk about, and this again comes from Kim, is we now have a Chocolatey package for the Chocolatey VSCode extension. So that's very meta, obviously, but if you want to, on a new machine, get up and running with this extension, then what you can do is just choco install Chocolatey-VSCode, and that obviously takes a dependency on VSCode. So with one command, you can get up and running with everything you need for creating Chocolatey packages in Visual Studio Code. And I think that is everything that I wanted to talk about in this release. So hopefully these new features that are getting added is something that's of use to you. If it's not, feel free to reach out and let us know what you are looking for in this extension. And if you've got any ideas about what we can do differently, definitely reach out. We want to hear from you. Thank you very much.